Oh, look at this. I got DMT up there. What is happening, Bo? How you doing, bud? How about we remove that one? And just for now, we remove that one. Oh man, Bo. Last night was a lot of fun. I had like 30 people in here. It was a complete blast. I'm hoping that, we just get a few more viewers and stuff. Maybe we tell some more stories, bullshit some more for an hour or so, and just relax, How you doing? How you holding up? You know, um, the thing about Donna, I don't want to bring you down or anything, but I know she's, up in heaven smiling down at us right now. Just enjoying that we're friends, and we just, you know, she made that happen. I don't know. I don't want to bring you down or anything, so sorry about that. I've got 24 people online, and just you. Need 7 more peeps for 5 hundo. Really? Let's see. Maybe we can make that happen here tonight. 493. Why doesn't it show any of your... There it goes. Alright, well, when I go to your home tab, it shows no activity. That's weird. Yeah, if we get 7 people in here that are not subscribed to you, I will get them to subscribe to you. Last night I hit 778 subscribers. I was at 777 for a while and I was pretty stoked. I didn't get a screenshot of that or anything. I did get the screenshot of 666 because I just thought that was really cool. Where's my Pepsi? There is my let's see where I put that thing. Hey Siri, where did I put my Pepsi?
What? Again?
I posted more than 4 hours ago. It disappeared after. Oh, that's badass. Yeah, thank you very much. Give me 1 second, bud. Now I've got 2 people in here. Hi. I'm going to find my Pepsi if you guys don't mind. And if you do, I mean. Firewolf Studios, que paso? Hey, Firewolf Studios, can you do me a favor? Mr. Bo there needs 7 more people to hit 500 subscribers. Will you mind clicking his subscribe button for me, bud? We're going to make that 6 more people. And we just got a 3rd person. If you could do the same, we're going to make it 5 people. We're going to get him to 500 tonight, I think. He's a really cool guy. He does lottery tickets here in Texas. He's one of my peeps. Oh, is Firewolf one of your people? Alright, well, I tried. I'm a sell for you. Alright, so give me 1 second, guys. Let me find this dang Pepsi. I put it somewhere. looks like I left it in the car. That sucks. Oh well. I got water. Alright, there we go. You love me? Well, thanks. Let me do this. Scratch and bow on the go. No. Share. Can we get this guy over 500 subs? Please? There we go. I just made a post in my Discord. Sharpies, models, and aquatics. Good morning, spoopy peeps. Hey, it's part of my fish farm, people. I hope everyone's doing well tonight. So let's see if we can get you over 500 Sharpies. Would you do me a favor? You don't know Bo, do you? The guy Scratch and Bow on the Go, TGD. Would you mind? He's so close to 500. I told him I would get him over 500 if I could tonight. It says there's 6 people in this chat. I'm sure not everybody here is subbed to him. We need to get him to 500. He's a really awesome guy. He does lottery tickets, scratchers here in Texas. Spooky fish farm. Fam. I don't know why when I see fam I want to say farm. But yeah, I could post his link, or you could just click on him actually. But where's my stream? No, watch it, stupid. What's wrong with you?
Fam. I don't know why when I see fam.
Subbed. Look at that. Scratch and Bow on the Go is now at 497. I really do appreciate that. That's awesome. So it says we have 6 people. I imagine some of them are probably watching on their TVs. Or that's their excuse. You are family to me, bro. We'll have to, if you ever come up to Texas, we'll have to go drinking one night. Most of us breed fish, so our fish rooms are kind of like a farm. Yeah, I guess that's true. Y'all might get me into fishing, well, not fishing, but keeping fishies. That's a huge responsibility, and I don't know if I could do it. It says we have 7 people in here. Let's get some more people talking while I eat this egg roll from that great Oriental restaurant. Really, their teriyaki bowl is so good. I don't know why. And I know it's probably just microwaved. They just pop it in the microwave and it goes. But it's so good. So, somebody tell me how their day went. Everybody tell me how their day went. Did anything good happen? Anything bad? Talk to me. Bam. Mm. Fry, right? That's fry. You're very welcome, Bo. It's the least I can do for you. Um, you're 13 away from 2.5K. Let's see. Ooh, you're so close. Hot sauce and laxative prank on dad? Jesus Christ. Oh, man. Sharpies, do you get that reference? That's Fry saying not sure if. Well, anyways, let's get into some creepy stories. And maybe we can get some more people to come out of the woodwork. We lost a couple. Oh well, it happens. But let's do the spoopy, aka the cabin in the woods. That one was pretty fun last night. I really want to read My Father Punished Me When I Talk to Ghosts. Of course I get it. I'm a nerd. Well, aw, I'm glad. I've got some horror haikus here if y'all are interested. If you're interested, let me know. Just say horror haikus. Let me close some of these. Let's see what we have. Alright. There we go. I turned down the music so it's not so loud. Oh, here's one. A normal restaurant. I just ate. This is fun. And it's like less than 1 minute long. Here's the link. If you're interested, remember, words are hard. And before we get started, I don't know how many people in here or my long-time watchers. But this is gonna seem weird to y'all. But trust me, it'll be okay. We're just gonna put on some Burt's Bees. See, Burt's Bees. You know it's Burt's Bees with two little buzzes. There's the buzzes right there. We're just gonna put that on the lips just like this. hmm Make sure you put on your Burt's Bees, or I might have to, and you won't like it. Anyways, ooh, like Pam, I have plenty of my own creepy or scary paranormal experiences. If you're interested in emailing me some, in fact, let me check the creepy inbox. Nothing. Nobody loves me. It's fine. If you want to share one of your stories, I would be very elated to read them. You can email me at creepychappy@yahoo.com. It's up to you. But here's a really short one. It's kind of silly. I smiled as the waiter came up to me. I heard some stories about this restaurant being disturbing, but everything was fine until this point. I felt my grin slip off my face as I heard her utter a string of forbidden words. I'm sorry, sir. We're all out of garlic bread. I can't. I can't. I just thought that was funny. Here's another one. This one's called In the Dark. I'm in the dark. I feel like a creepy Mr. Rogers, and I don't know if I like that or not. I see you over there, tucked into your bed. I hope you feel uncomfortable. I hope you sense me over there watching you. I wonder if you can see my emerald eyes staring at you. I hope you feel them piercing your soul. I hope you feel my presence here, waiting. The bed trembles as you turn uneasily. I know that I will soon have my prize. I am coiled springs, ready to attack when you are weak, which will be soon. The blankets churn. It won't be long now. I see your resolve fading quickly. Only a while longer until I can sink my sharp teeth into you. Only a while longer until I can claw you into ribbons. You look around as you get up cautiously. You know I'm here, but you convince yourself that I'm not lurking in the shadows that stretch across the room. As you walk by, I prepare. You will come back, and that's when I will attack. I come out of my hidden spot, just enough so that nothing will catch me as I pounce to destroy you. You are walking back now. You're right next to me. I go. My claws and teeth sink into your protective coat, right into your core. Ow, kitty! What are you doing? I love that one. You posted a video. Hello, Mama. How are you doing? It was just my mama's birthday the other day. 2 days ago, actually. Y'all should say hello to Mama Chappy. That is my honest to God mother. And if she's still here, she will tell you the creepy stories about when she was a child. When I was 6, back in '82, my great grandmother died. A few days after the funeral, my parents and I were clearing out our old people's apartment. I went into the bathroom hunting for a suitable souvenir. I'm good. Going to bed. Mom, I mean, if one of these days I'll have to get you to write down all the creepy stories. That would be good. Hey, Nikki Pirate, how you doing? Welcome back to the stream. Good night, Mama. You know I love you, and I miss you. It's my mama. She's in another state. My bed keeps it's an air mattress because I'm a broke guy, and every time I move, oh, Bo, she knows. She made me. She's the alpha mom. I seriously sent this to my mom on Mother's Day. I seriously sent this to my mom on Mother's Day. Oh wait, let me fix it. It says, Happy Mother's Day. Other moms near you might get flowers from their kids saying you're the best mom. Those kids are lying dicks. You're the alpha mom. uh, I don't think she thought it was as funny as I do, but I thought it was hilarious. Okay, so back to your story. Or a keepsake to remember her by. She was sat by her bed and spoke to me for a while before passing me the wooden egg cup I always used for my boiled egg and soldiers when I visited. I still have it now. Ooh. Spoopy. Alright, the bed creaking. It's gonna drive me nuts. I wanna fix this. Ah. And I dropped my little e-cigarette. Where did my e-cigarette? There it goes. Oh, my bed's falling over. Oh, technical difficulties of like the real kind. Alright, let me fix this real quick. Yeah, I know. Yeah. Hey, I found a Pepsi. There we go. Now it just makes regular airbed stuff. But this is one of those cheap airbeds. This thing's actually got a built-in pump and USB. And then I went and put a memory foam on top of it. I mean, if I didn't have a really nice bed and storage, I would consider just doing this forever. Because nothing goes under your bed, first of all. And second, it's so effing comfortable. um, let's do some stories. Oh, there's more. There's more to that story. The kitty one. I guess I can read that. Let me do that real quick. Ow, kitty. What are you doing? Killing the beast that has infected you, I think. Meow. Is what I say instead. It's just a sock, you say as you drag the bloodied white creature behind you. It's a dead parasite. Meow. I use lighter words to comfort you as you settle back down into your warmth. You can take vigil, or I can take vigil on top of your bed to scour the darkness for the other things that lurk in plain sight. I mean, I think this story was fine with just, ow, kitty, what are you doing? I should have just left it alone. I like this one. I don't know if y'all will or not, but it's you know, it's just a good time. This story is called We Found Heaven and It Was Empty. There's the link. If any of you guys like any of these stories and I post a link for them, please feel free to click on the link in the chat and give these authors your love. They have a rating system of 1 to 10 stars. And my one little vote, I mean, it adds up. But there's 6 people in here. 6 votes is far better. Hey, what's happening? I'm here. Sorry I'm late. No, you're fine. Thank you for showing up. We've just been bullshitting and having some fun. We got our friend Bo on the go. Oh. To 500 subs just now. That was pretty cool. Our other friend, Firewolf Studios, is a few subs away from a grand amount. What did he say? It was like 2.5k? Like 14 away from 2.5k? 13 away from 2.5k. So, I mean, if you want to throw him a sub, that'd be cool. He's got some awesome videos on there. So does Bo. Bo does scratchers. And Firewolf Studios, he did a prank video on there. Just all sorts of stuff. Yeah, hot sauce and laxative prank on dad. That was a year ago. You know, I'd like to try that on my dad. He was a little bit of a dick sometimes. We've got to adjust the when your own hair goes in your mouth. Scratch and Bow on the go. Well, I got another story for you. Bella M. Hey, just came from Nathan's Christmas stream. Is he still streaming? Is that why everybody's I knew who my real viewers are. No, I'm just kidding. I don't want to pit myself against Nathan. Because Nathan got me a fair bit of subscribers. I don't know if y'all are familiar with Nathan Barnett. He's a comedian. He's done some movies. I think the cooler stuff is he did a video for, oh shoot, Lady Antebellum. He did one for Flo Rida. Yeah, he's done a lot of cool stuff. He's a good guy. But here's the story. We found heaven, and it was empty. I feel like you should whisper that. Happens to me while regarding hair in the mouth. Is that a dirty comment? That tasted like bubble gum. That was a weird one. I love air mattresses. Amber Dodd Shadow Hair. Hi, Chappy. Hi, Amber Dawn. So here's the story. Exactly. We can fight the power of the YouTube algorithm. Although it's done me pretty good. It's I'm not gonna can't complain. Um, all right, so here we go. Nearly 3 decades ago, work had begun on a machine that could punch a hole through the fabric of reality, a hole straight through to another reality and beyond. The idea was that, with the right circumstances, we could find a universe with limitless energy. This would make up the unimaginable amounts of power that the machine took up and the irreparable damage it would do likely to Earth and surrounding solar systems. But if we found a universe at the very beginning of its creation, we'd have unfathomable amounts of raw, undefined energy that last for a couple billion years. And at the same time, scientists would be able to study universes that followed entirely different laws of physics from our own. A few years before I was born, this was accomplished. With this limitless energy expanding technology beyond anything possible before it and solving most of the world's problems, war and struggle had been at an all-time low until a group of religious extremists tried to use the machine to prove the existence of God. This started a war, one of the largest uproars in history. Nearly every single religion turned on this small group of 30 people, protected by the United States government. Some were scared that their God would be proven false, and some thought it was wrong to try to prove that their God was real rather than simply having faith. But in the end, there was no war. World leaders would not attack the US, which supplied their power, and the countries who did were often far too small to do any major damage. The machine was set to search for a universe with the coordinates of various holy numbers from the Christian Bible. For weeks it searched, finding nothing. Different combinations inputted every time a search failed, until a little over 4 months ago, January 19th, 2234, we found heaven. There was nothing else it couldn't be. It was a it was a reality of endless sky, nothing but clouds and blue as far as the eye could see, as far as any creature, machine, or natural entity could go. The air was breathable, fresh, and sweet even, and the light was dim, but not too dark to see. And it was entirely empty. The only thing of note were red lakes. Every cloud had them, and they were incredibly fresh. They were still rippling. Upon entering the universe, some in fact hadn't even fallen to the ground yet. The first three and even claimed they looked humanoid for a second. The damage to our world upon opening the portal is irreparable and devastating. But we know the damage to the other world is 1,000 times worse. Hey, 54 Punchy. Hey, Casavault. How you doing, buddy? Long time no see. Cass, one of my longtime friends from a game we used to play, um, Lords Mobile. It's a devilish game. Punchy, are you you sexting right now? Catherine Meredith. Hey Jay, I can't find you on Facebook. How you doing? Good, bro. Glad you're still about. I am, and just doing the YouTube thing. I'm having a lot of fun. You're gonna have to get everybody in here. Just telling some spoopy stories and vaping my little heart out and making sure my lips are nice and lubricated. Oh, that was a long O for no. So she's sexting right now. That's cool. I mean, hey, everybody, they do their thing. How are you, Catherine Meredith? That is a beautiful picture that you have on your channel. Is it a rooster? It's a bird of some kind. And it looks sideways. It's a birdie. And a rooster. Oh, is it a chickie? Chicky chick? There's a fish tuber streaming. You will probably have a bunch more come in about 20 minutes. Am I still on Lord's Mobile? I have it. I think I deleted it. No, I finally got burned at 500 million. Well, let's see what we have. As you went to go to the shop, I got sent to the shop for wine from my mom. LOL, weird timing. I haven't seen Stacy Morgan in a long time. Well, Catherine Meredith, you're very welcome. I feel if someone takes time out of their day to subscribe to me, I can take time out of my day to subscribe to them. Ouch, I quit back in May. Who's streaming, Pam? Nothing on my notifications. It's for the people that hit 1K, apparently. She's too good for us. I'm just kidding. That's wrong. I shouldn't say such things. My mother raised me better than that. Scratch and bow with a go. Come on, smack talk. Alright, let's find another spoopy story. Thought I had one up. Hmm. Oh, you're talking about the sexting. Oh. Oh. Well, here's a story. This one's called Sarah O'Bannon. Coffins used to be built with holes in them, attached to 6 feet of copper tubing and a bell. The tubing would allow air for victims buried under the mistaken impression they were dead. Harold, the Oakdale gravedigger, upon hearing a bell, went to go see if the children, pretending to be spirits. Sometimes it was also the wind. This time it wasn't either. A voice from below begged, pleaded to be unburied. You, Sarah O'Bannon? Yes, the voice assured. You born on September 17th, 1827? Yes. The gravestone says here that you died February 19th. No, I'm alive. It was a mistake. Dig me up. Set me free. Sorry about this, ma'am, Harold said, stepping on the bell to silence it, and plugged up the copper tube with dirt. But this is August. Whatever you is down there, you ain't alive no more, and you ain't coming up. Ooh, I like that one. I like that one a lot. Good old Sarah O'Bannon. That one gets a 10 from me. If y'all like that one, here's the link one more time. This is a little bit suiting for my situation. This is called The Boy Who Loved to Read. Once there was a boy who loved to read. He read everything he could get his hands on, and loved going to his favorite bookstore. One day the boy realized he had read everything the store had to offer. He confronted the owner, asked him if he had anything the boy had never checked out. The owner said, "Why, yes, I do," and pulled out a book called Death. He gladly sold it to the boy at a discounted price of $50. However, he warned the boy never to read the front page. Well, the boy returned to his house and read the book. He was content. However, he always wondered what could be on the front page. It was always in the back of his mind. One day the temptation was too much for the boy, and he flipped to the very front of the book and dropped the book in horror. There in bold print was MSRP $7.99. Aw. Robot pastas? Why you say robot pastas? Do I sound like a robot? How you doing, Sleek the Geek? Everybody, it's Sleek the Geek. He is a sound producer, a producer of all sorts. So if you have anything you need produced, please get a hold of him. He's a great guy, and he will break his back to make sure you're happy. Why do you say robot pastas? I don't understand. Do I sound like a robot right now? Or is it because I pause every word like I'm a robot? Well, that was every... Never mind. Oh, you want creepy pastas with robots. I'll see what I can do for you. Techno pastad. I have a feeling that they're all going to be extremely long. Oh, that's not bad. It's 11 minutes. Oh, we can do an 11-minute story. This story is called Bot, written by D. Compton Ambrose. If you like the story, you may want to click the link. I'm sure that they have a link to their content. Let me... Oh, it's a long one. It's just like 11-minute or 11 long 1-minute stories. Well, here's the creepy part. I can't scroll up. There it goes. It had been 4 days since Julius McKinsley had left his house. Maybe longer. Had it been a week already? He couldn't tell. Not anymore. The same four walls seemed to close in on him every passing day. Yet whoever or whatever was out there hadn't moved an inch. At first he would only show up at night and just stand there. At first Julius thought it was the was the angle of street light hitting the curb and apartments across the street. But next week he showed up again, closer, standing the exact same manner, and appeared to be wearing some kind of costume. Julius had brushed it off again, this time as hallucinations from not getting enough sleep, spending too many hours awake researching Firewall Oasis and the new line of machines they're coming out with. But then it showed up again, this time in his backyard. It stood just behind the corner of his tool shed, just inside, so nobody could see it. Then people started dying. Chloe Morton had just gotten her 2027 edition Bobby Bluebell, a 3-foot AI home assistant. Ever since the release of the Roomba, Chloe had been obsessed with robotic home appliances. She had bought the Roomba in 2020, starting her collection off a bit behind everyone else. After being enthralled with its efficiency, Chloe had bought Q and Landroid in 2021, raising the robots in number to 3 in her house. In 2022, she had bought a Beam system, a Lynx for Amazon Alexa, and a Riley night vision motion detecting security system. But then but then she bought the Bluebell, which is when things started getting weird. Chloe called the company, the one she worked for presently, but was a customer at the time, about Bluebell's strangely human persona. They assured her it was a state-of-the-art technology and designed to be the best of the best. Everything else was rather simple. They explained the location of the instruction manual, which she pursued, but it explained very little. Then, when they said their briefing on how to manage the item itself, she recalled that there wasn't one. They exchanged glances and agreed there must have been an error in lower management. They said they could contact her immediately as soon as they had more information. Then they ended the call. They never called back. She threw out her MIP when she noticed that Bluebell did things even MIP wouldn't do, like talk to her and compliment her outfits. Everything was fine until Chloe realized it wouldn't turn off. Every day Chloe woke up to go to work. Starting off the third day, Alexa would announce, "Good morning, Chloe," which was normal, but then add, "Bobby would like to speak to you urgently." The first day, Bobby replied, "I'm glad you are operating at optimum capacity and ready to act at a moment's notice." Chloe blinked forcefully and she went to get her coffee ready. "So forgive me if I'm not understanding," said Chloe, as the coffee cup filled with ground beans and hot liquid. "But you were just checking on me? Why?" Bobby explained that he wants to ensure the survival of his owning human. "If my human does not survive, or cannot operate at, the very least, potential optimum abilities, then nor can I." Chloe didn't think much of it, sipping her coffee and saying with a sigh, "Well, I guess all you bots are just weird like that nowadays." Bobby cocked his oblong head. "What do you mean, weird?" Chloe shrugged. "Abnormal, bizarre, sometimes creepy?" She shrugged again after another sip of coffee, beginning to realize how irritated she was. Chloe burned herself, and the Roomba squeaked and beeped as it hovered over where she spilled some of the scalding beverage. "Roomba says he is happy to clean up," said Bobby curtly. Chloe nodded in a fit of frustration, setting her cup down and ignoring the synthetic beings scurrying and jabbering about around her. As she got dressed, collected her things, and got ready, the bots were constantly around, asking her if she needed help, where they could find a certain item, remind her about objectives and tasks for the day. For the most part, she ignored them, but even after she had left the house, gotten into her car, and was on the road to Oasis, they remained in the back of her mind. Something so incredibly involved in nearly every aspect of one's personal life was impossible to ignore entirely. When Chloe got into the building, she found several police cruisers and an FBI van parked out front. Normally, this wouldn't disturb her much here in the city, where there was often crime. But when she got inside, everything changed. The press were there, snapping photos. She recalled a convoy of news vans on the way to work. She realized that this was the epicenter of the crisis for the day. The mood was melancholy and dark. The employees, supervisors, and others were all gloomy and frightened. She passed a room where the Korean division was demonstrating with a dentist the new orthodontics assistant robot with some students. It had always given her chills how humanoid the female figure was, notwithstanding her wide mouth, filled with teeth indistinguishable from the real thing. Hey! In another room, the blue-violet childcare robot sat glumly and lifeless, unattended to. Chloe found this one just as creepy, if not more so than the last bot. As Chloe arrived on the 10th floor, on which the office of her boss resided, she didn't see the usual. Which was happening was borderline nauseating. The radio, the killing it had talked of, was directly responsible for her company Firewall Oasis. Entire family wiped out by the collection of bots, some of which were even developed in Firewall Oasis laboratories. We are here speaking with the Chief Financial Officer, Gregory Hudson. Mr. Hudson, you say that you were in the middle of the experimental endeavor with your supervisors when the occurrence at 4:30 a.m. last night. Is this true? The reporter turned his Bluetooth in the direction of Hudson as he looked back and forth between the man and the camera, nodding intermittently. Yes, this is true. But the units we're working on were not yet sanctioned and thus not on the market. So any correlation whatsoever between the tragedy in question and business ventures is wholly non-existent. The entire room erupted in deafening jeers and prostrations, so loud that Chloe had to cover her ears. The day only continued to get worse. To a point she had to remove her badge and change clothing after the various incidents of being attacked by passers-by in the streets. Needless to say, Chloe had no choice but to return home for the day by one, for Firewall Oasis was quickly collapsing into bankruptcy and legal scrutiny. But even if the company itself fell, their hold on individuals the world over would never go away, because they manufactured the bots. And Analog Associates commanded the resource they needed to do so. "Welcome home, Chloe," said Alexa. "Would you like something to eat? I'm detecting an imbalance of nutrition in your body today." But before it could continue, Chloe interrupted the demanding that the windows be dimmed. Certainly, blinds lowering and screens tinting. Chloe wanted nothing more than to pretend today that the past few days had not happened and drown herself in some wine. She only had the new Bobby unit for a few weeks, but was sure it could figure out her by itself when to leave her alone. The next few hours went by rather normally. Most of the time she spent drinking wine and reading the newest installment of The Timekeepers by her favorite author, Ian Elijah Davis, before eventually getting bored with that and going back to watch the television. After roughly her 13th glass of wine, she noticed an unsettling visage out of the corner of her perception. A towering figure, at least 8 feet tall, dominating her periphery. For a moment she sat petrified, unable to move a muscle, unable even to move her eyes. Finally, after about 10 minutes of stupefaction, she managed to push herself to look out the corner of her vision. When she focused her eyes and head upon the terror, she found only the oblong-headed silhouette of Bobby Bluebell. He stood, motionless, for about 10 minutes. Chloe and Bobby engaged in a staring contest, unable to move. "Your chicken dinner is ready, Chloe," was all Bobby gleefully announced as he disappeared back into the hallway. "That does it," she thought. "I'm calling the Analog Associates and telling them my unit is malfunctioning and this was behind the death of those people," she said, almost out loud, catching herself. Chloe felt the hair stand up on the back of her neck as she slowly turned to see Bobby was back, peeking out from around a corner. He was quickly gone, and Chloe was left with a racing heart and a dry throat. Something had to be done. As Chloe was making her way to the conference room, she was intercepted by a 5-foot tall beam system. Only the screen top was projecting static. "I am informed that your heart rate is higher. Cognitive reasoning abilities are impaired," Alexa announced as the screen elevated and projected forward. "Would you like to reconsider your decision?" Projected in front of the static were two red, rounded rectangles even, representing eyes. Chloe screamed and ran downstairs, almost intercepted by the security drone on the stairs leading up to the 3rd floor. She landed on the bottom floor to see the Roomba spinning into the room before shining a red beam onto her. She screamed again and ran into the master bathroom, through her own bedroom, locking the door. As she sobbed uncontrollably, the door began to crack inward. "Chloe, mother, you are unwell." Another smash. "Mama, I want to give you dinner." "You are hungry, ma'am." "Nope. I'm sorry. You are hungry, Mama," shouted Alexa. Another smash, deeper, harder. Chloe cried out, "Mama." The door cracked. "Mama," the machine cried, its voice becoming distorted. It cried out again, even further distorted. Chloe took a chair and smashed out the window, over 40 floors up, and began to shimmy down the fire escape. She was halfway down when she realized the ladder was not extended, and proceeded to use her weight to attempt to do so. While she was dangling from the bottom, she noticed something red out the corner of her eye. The security drone had deployed and was looking straight at her. Chloe screamed, slipped off the ladder, and fell 26 stories to her death. Detective Jim Rodriguez almost gagged as the mortician uncovered the body. Several snapped ligaments and bones, including ribs poking out, spilled organs, and a lower section had almost entirely turned inside out. "They're ruling it a suicide," the attorney said as the body was recovered. "But between you and me, detective," he continued, "nobody would knowingly destroy themselves like this. Unfortunately, there's nothing to suggest, let alone prove, it was anything else. Jim sighed. What's your theory? Only two people were living in that apartment. Most moved out of that part of town in 2026 after the Russian Ukrainian AI tank scandal. Well, he began, the old lady was too old to force the 30-year-old divorcee out the window at that time of night. So I think it would be smart to go with what everyone else is saying. That being the robots did it, Jim replied. Yeah, I mean, think about it. Ever since that McKinley murders in 2023 in eastern Germany, there were over 66 people killed in an exact 48-mile radius from Julius McKinley's residence. All courts were forced, by all evidence, to convict the man, but he had nothing but fear and terror on his face. No remorse, no anger, no ego, just bitter fear. Why would a convicted murderer spill his guts on live television? His lifelong love of a man he had long considered his brother. Among many other things, like that, he was molested by his father and wanted justice. The official story doesn't add up the way it should, and many people are saying the same thing. The rapid rise and the proliferation of robotic individuals has significantly altered the fabric of society in a timely and methodical manner. We can barely tell that it's happening. Thus, only those who pay obsessive amounts of attention to what's happening in the world today and follow a pattern can see it for what it is. Jim ignored the man and continued his search of the complex. The next day, he could find no evidence, no wrongdoing. In fact, the next day, he was told that Firewall Oasis had been shut down and relocated. Where's my next assignment? Analog Associates. Its location is being uploaded to your GPS. You have been granted all access on account of law enforcement. Director D. Director KD announced. I'm not reading all this. This is just droning. Well, HC Aqua. That was a weird story. It was just droning. I'm sorry, bud. I tried. Wow, you're a big channel. 3.96K. I am G Snap. How are you doing? You now have 28 subscribers. Who else we got in here? You got an Alexa? Yeah, I think they're pretty awesome. Hey, Zen Ginger. Big J's Fish Keeper. How you doing, bud? That's a heck of a beard you got on your face, huh? Mine's just a little one. And it grows in all white trash, so I gotta shave it. Oh, you have some fishy tanks. Look at that. Catfish, guppies. I'm peeping on my new people. need to get learn how to get Alexa to ignore your kids. I bet you can somehow. Childproof Alexa. Hey Siri, can you childproof Alexa?
I don't have an answer for that. Is there something else I can help with?
No.
Okay.
How to childproof Alexa. Oh, you sure can. Open Alexa app on your iOS or Android device. Tap the three lines that look like a sandwich in the top left to expand the left menu and select Alexa devices. Select one of the devices from the list. Scroll down and select Free Time under General. Tap the toggle to the right of Free Time. Select Setup Amazon Free Time. Type in your child's first name, select a gender, and enter a birthday. Choose an icon and add child. Damn it. Tap Continue and enter your Amazon password and tap Sign In. You may also ask you to and tap Continue, then enter your Amazon password and tap Sign In. It may also ask you to confirm it's your two-way factor authentication. Well, I mean, hey Scooter. Hey Cianta, how you doing, bud? We're getting all sorts of people in here now. Look at that. It's the fish farm power. I have a Roomba in the trailer out back complete with the Ouija board. There's this picture. I think y'all have seen it. Ouija. This right here. This right here. One of the funniest comments I ever saw on that would be, great, and have my Roomba summoning demons is the last thing I need. What was I playing with? I don't know. How's everybody doing? Is Sleep the Geek still even here? I think I put him to sleep. This story is the spookiest of all of them. There's nothing scarier than getting stuck on a login screen. Just saying. Nothing scarier. Jeremy Morel, you now have 60 subscribers. Congratulations. LOL, what? I just love the simplicity of that name. I love it so much that I have a ridiculous license plate. I'm not joking. It's not LOL what though. But it's pretty close. See if I can find it. There it is. This is my license plate on my car. I am not joking. I'm a grown ass man with that on my car. Scariest thing is waking up in the morning to find you still have a conversation. Conservative government led by a buffoon. What are y'all laughing at? Why are y'all not moderators yet? I thought I fixed that. But yeah, my license plate is LOL, oh my god. Laugh out loud, oh my god. Chappy, scroll up. Is there any Christmas scary stories about something spoopy happening during the holidays? That was asked last night. There's plenty of them, but they're all entirely too long. There's a red shrimp, a blue shrimp, and a yellow shrimp. That's pretty neat. I'd have American shrimp, a red, white, and a blue. They'd all have little shotguns. And they'd eat hamburgers and drink beer and hell, I don't know, everything else. 'Cause America. No, the scariest first thing in the morning is finding out that you have no coffee. No, the actual scariest thing to wake up to is probably a child standing over you when you sleep. What's probably more scarier than that is that you live alone. I don't know how to say that, Jay Betta. Sometimes it's easier to read words than say them out loud. Kajome? Kagome? Oh, no. Come on. Stop. Stop messing with me. Oh, I was promised 6-hour streams. Not by me, you weren't. I've done some. Hell, I've done almost 12-hour streams. Huh. Let me find your story. Weekend after today. First weekend with no work to do. Excited. Oh, I don't know if I want to read that. Not because the Russian sleep experiment was a little too gruesome for my taste. I'll 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 keep that one. Here's a fun one. Well, that's not it. So here's a fun one that y'all might like. Scariest thing I ever woke up to was a floating foot above the floor. It fell when I woke up. My roommate decided to tell me the house was haunted. I can't get over it today. I found out I have subscribers and I have to become a mod on YouTube. Wow, the pressure. You'll be alright. I'm just a little channel. This is a fun one that I like. It says scary for kids, but it's still a fun story. But it's called 8 Feet Tall, or Hachi Shaka Ka Suma. That's my poor attempt at Japanese. But it's a fun one. I'm anticipating that story will eventually, so you're stuck with me till you do that creepy pasta. Cool. Well, maybe I won't do that one for a while so you can stick around and keep telling me to do it. Yeah, I'll do 8 feet tall. How you doing? Nope. Hello, Siri. You didn't get me that time. She usually gets me. I say hi, Siri. Oh, it didn't do it this time. Uh, 8 feet tall, or Hachi Shaka Suma, is a Japanese urban legend about a tall woman who abducts children. She's 8 feet tall, wears a long white dress, and makes the sound like po, 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 po. My grandparents lived in Japan. Every summer, my parents would take me there on holiday to visit them. They lived in a small village. They had a big backyard. I loved to play there during the summer. When we arrived, my grandparents always welcomed me with open arms. I was their only grandson, so they spoiled me. The last time I saw them was the summer when I was 8 years old. As usual, my parents booked a flight to Japan, and we drove from the airport to my grandparents' house. They were delighted to see me and had a lot of little presents to give me. My parents wanted to have some time by themselves, so after a few days, they took a trip to another part of Japan, leaving me in the care of my grandma and grandpa. One day, I was playing out in the backyard. My grandparents were inside the house. It was a hot summer's day, and I laid in the grass to rest. I stared up at the clouds and enjoyed the feeling of the soft rays of sun and gentle breeze. Just as I was about to get up, I heard a strange sound. Po, 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 po. I didn't know what it was, and it was hard to figure out where it was coming from. It sounded almost like somebody was making the noise themselves, as they were saying po, po, po. over again in a deep, masculine voice. I'm obviously not doing that. Maybe I'll give that a shot. I was looking around, searching for the source of the noise, when I suddenly noticed something on top of the tall hedges that enclosed the backyard. It was a straw hat. It was resting on the hedge. It wasn't resting on the hedge. It was behind it. That's where the sound was coming from. Yeah, I'll do it in the deep voice. Pull, 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 pull. Then the hat began to move, as if someone was wearing it. The hat stopped at a small gap in the hedges, and I could see a face peering through. It was a woman, but the hedges were high, almost 8 feet tall. I was surprised at how tall the woman was. I wondered if she was wearing stilts or some sort of huge high-heeled shoes. Then, a split second later, she walked off. The strange noise disappeared with her, fading into the distance. Bewildered, I got up and wandered back into the house. My grandparents were in the kitchen drinking tea. I sat down at the table, and after a while, I told my grandparents what I had seen. They weren't really paying attention to me until I mentioned that distinctive sound. Pull, 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 pull. As soon as I said that, both of them suddenly froze. Grandma's eyes grew wide and she covered her mouth with her hand. Grandpa's face became very serious and he grabbed me by the arm. "This is very important," he said in an intense voice. "You must tell us exactly how tall she was." "As tall as the garden hedge," I replied, beginning to get scared. My grandfather bombarded me with questions. Where was she standing? When did this happen? What did you do? She see you? I tried to answer all of his questions the best I could. He suddenly rushed out of the hallway and made a phone call. I couldn't hear what he was saying. I looked over at my grandma and she was trembling. Grandpa came back into the room and spoke to my grandmother. "I've got to go out for a while," he said. "You stay here with the child. Don't take your eyes off him for a second." "What's going on, Grandpa?" I cried. He looked at me with a sad expression in his eyes and said, "You've been liked by the Hachi Shaku-sama." With that, he hurried out, got in his truck, and drove off. I turned to my grandmother and cautiously said, "Who is Hachi Shaku-sama?" "Don't worry," she replied in a shaky voice. "Grandpa will do something. There's no need for you to worry." As we nervously sat in the kitchen waiting for my grandfather to come back, she explained what was happening. She told me there was a dangerous thing that was haunting the area. They called it Hachi Shaku-sama because of its height. In Japanese, Hachi Saku-sama means 8 feet tall. Which Hachi means 8. Kasu-sama, I guess, means feet tall. It takes on the appearance of an extremely tall woman and makes a sound like pull, pull, pull in a deep male voice. It appears slightly differently depending on those who see it. Some say it looks like a haggard old woman in a komodo. Others say it's a girl in a white funeral shroud. One thing that never changes is the height and the sound it makes. A long time ago, it was captured by the monks and they managed to confine it in the ruins of a building on the outskirts of the village. They trapped it using 4 small religious statues they called jizos that they placed on the north, south, east, and west of the ruins. and it wasn't supposed to be able to move from there. Somehow it managed to escape. The last time it appeared was 15 years ago. My grandmother said that to anyone who saw 8 feet tall was destined to die within a few days. It all sounded so crazy. I wasn't sure what to believe. When Grandpa came back, there was an old woman with him. She introduced herself as Kei-san and handed me a small crumpled piece of parchment, saying, "Here, take this and hold it." Then she and Grandpa went upstairs to do something. I was left alone in the kitchen with my grandma again. "I need to go to the toilet." Granny followed me to the bathroom and wouldn't let me shut the door. I was beginning to get really frightened by all this. After a while, Grandpa and Kei-san took me upstairs and brought me into my bedroom. The windows were covered in newspaper and lots of ancient runes that had been written on them. There were small bowls of salt in all 4 corners of the room, and a small Buddha figure placed in the center of the room on top of a wooden box. There was also a bright blue bucket. "What's the bucket for?" I asked. "That's for your pee and poo," Grandpa replied. Kei-san sat me down on the bed and said, "Soon the sun will be setting, so listen carefully. You must stay in this room until tomorrow morning. You must not come out under any circumstances until 7 o'clock tomorrow morning. Your grandmother and your grandfather will not speak to you or call you until then. Remember, do not leave the room for any reason until then. I will let your parents know what's going on." She spoke in such a grave tone that all I could do was quietly nod my head. "You have to follow Kei-san's instructions to the letter," Grandpa told me, "and never let go of the parchment she gave you. And if anything happens, pray to Buddha, and make sure you lock this door when we leave." They walked out into the hallway, and after saying goodbye to them, I closed the bedroom door and locked it. I turned on the TV and tried to watch, but I was so nervous I felt sick to my stomach. Grandma had left some snacks and rice balls for me, but I couldn't eat them. I felt like I was in prison. I was very depressed and scared. I laid down in the bed and waited. Before I knew it, I was asleep. When I woke up, it was just after 1 a.m. All of a sudden, I realized that something was tapping on the window. I felt the blood drain from my face and my heart skipped a beat. I desperately tried to calm myself down, telling myself it was just the wind playing tricks, or maybe the branches of a tree. I turned up the volume on the TV to drown out the tapping noise. Eventually, it stopped altogether. That's when I heard Grandpa call me. "Are you okay in there?" he asked. "If you're scared, you don't have to stay in there all alone. I can come in and keep you company." I smiled and rushed over to the door, but then I stopped in my tracks. I had goosebumps all over my body. It sounded like Grandpa's voice, but somehow it was different. I couldn't tell you what it was, but I just knew. "What are you doing?" Grandpa asked. "You can open the door now." I glanced to my left and a chill went down my spine. The salt in the bowls was slowly turning black. I backed away from the door. My whole body was trembling with fear. I fell to my knees in front of the Buddha statue and clutched the piece of parchment tightly in my hand. I started desperately praying for help. "Please save me from Hachisaku-sama," I wailed. Then I heard the voice outside the door saying, "Po, po, 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 po." The tapping on the window started up again. I was overcome by fear, and I crouched there in front of the statue, half crying and half praying for the rest of the night. I felt like it would never end, but eventually it was morning. The salt in all 4 bowls was pitch black. I checked my watch. It was 7:30 a.m. I cautiously opened the door. Grandma and Kay-san were standing outside waiting for me. When she saw my face, Grandma burst into tears. "I'm so glad you're still alive," she said. I went downstairs and was surprised to see my mother and father sitting in the kitchen. Grandpa came in and said, "Hurry up. We've got to get you going." We went to the front door. There was a large black van waiting in the driveway. Several men from the village were standing around it, pointing at me and whispering, "That's the boy." The van was a 9-seater, and they put me in the middle, surrounded by 8 men. Kei-san was in the driver's seat. The man on my left looked down and said, "You've got yourself in quite a spot of trouble. I know you're probably worried. Just keep your head down and your eyes shut. We can't see it, but you can. Don't open your eyes until we've got you safely out of here." Grandpa drove in front of my dad's car, and we followed behind. When everyone was ready, our little convoy started moving. We were going fairly slowly, around 20 kilometers an hour, or maybe less. After a while, Kei-san said, "This is where it gets hard," and started muttering a prayer under her breath. That's when I heard the voice. Po, 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 po. I clutched the parchment Kei-san had given me tightly in my hand. I kept my head down, but I peeked outside. I saw a white dress fluttering in the breeze. It was moving alongside with the van. It was Hachisaku-sama. She was outside the window. She was keeping pace with us. Then suddenly she bent down and peered into the van. "No!" I gasped. The man beside me shouted, "Close your eyes!" I immediately shut my eyes as hard as I could and tightened my grip on the piece of parchment. Then the tapping began. The voice became louder. Po, 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 po. There was tapping on the windows all around us. All of the men in the van were startled and on edge, muttering nervously to themselves. They couldn't see 8 feet tall, and they couldn't hear her voice, but they could hear her tapping on the windows. Kei-san started praying louder and louder until she was almost shouting. The tension inside the van was unbearable. After a while, the tapping stopped, and the voice disappeared. Kei-san looked back and said, "I think we're safe now." All of the men around me breathed a sigh of relief. The van pulled over to the side of the road, and the men got out. They transferred me into my dad's car. My mother held me close, and tears were running down her cheeks. Grandpa and my father bowed to the men, and they were on their way. Kei-san came to the window and asked me to show her the piece of parchment she had given me. While I opened my hand, I saw it had completely gone black. "I think you will be okay now," she said. "But just be sure. Hold on to this for a while." She handed me a brand new piece of parchment. After that, we drove straight to the airport, and Grandpa saw us safely on the plane. When we took off, my parents breathed a sigh of relief. My father told me he had heard about 8 feet tall before, years ago, when his friend had been liked by her. The boy's disappearance was never seen again. My father said there were people who had been liked by her and lived to tell about it. They all had to leave Japan and settle down in foreign countries. They were never able to go back to their homeland. She always chooses children as her victims. They say it's because children are dependent on their parents and family members. This makes them easier to deceive when she possesses them or poses as their relatives. He said the men in the van were all blood relatives of mine, and that's why they had been sitting around me, and why my father and grandfather had been driving with us. It was all done to try to confuse Hachi Sakusama. It took a while to contact everyone and get them all together. So that's why I had to be confined in the room all night. He told me that one of the little Jizo statues, the ones meant to keep her trapped, had been broken, and that's how she escaped. It gave me chills. I was glad when we finally got back home. All of this happened more than 10 years ago. I haven't seen my grandparents since then. I haven't been able so much as to set foot in the country. Afterwards, I would call them every few weeks and talk to them on the phone. Over the years, I tried to convince myself that it was just an urban legend, that everything that happened was just some elaborate prank. But sometimes I'm not so sure. My grandfather died 2 years ago. When he was sick, he wouldn't allow me to visit him. He left strict instructions in his will that I wasn't to attend his funeral. It was all very sad. My grandmother called a few days ago. She said she had been diagnosed with cancer. She missed me terribly and wanted to see me one last time before she died. "Are you sure, Grandma?" I asked. "Is it safe?" "It's been 10 years," she said. "All that happened a long time ago. It's all forgotten. You're all grown up now. I'm sure there won't be a problem." "But what about Hachi Sakusama?" I said. For a moment there was silence on the other end of the phone. Then I heard a deep masculine voice saying, "Po, po, 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 po." Y'all like that one? Oh man. Yeah, that's a fun story. We got new people in here. Fish Room Fever. How are you? 474 subscribers. I love that story. Hey, Chattanooga Ed. I watched your video. Was that you? You were dressed up as a fish for Halloween? It was. It was really funny. Alright, where'd my water go? Alright, give me 1 second, guys. Oh, that's not it. Water, 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 water. Well, I'm up for the next hour or so. There's some Burt's Bees for y'all. See the Burt's Bees? Little buzzes? That's them. If you don't wear your Burt's Bees, I'm going to tell my friend to come get you. She might say, "Po, po." I'm going to stop. Oh, that's messed up. Did y'all like that story? I thought it was a fun one. I wonder if it's on this one. Oh, I need to stretch my legs out. Wait, let me make sure that I keep my sound going. Oh. Nope. This one needs to be submitted. Yeah. Was good. Burt's Bees needs to sponsor you already. They really do. I would like that. Or Japanese creepy pasta. My Japanese is really terrible. Um, Let me see if I can find some more. It's older than creepypasta is more like an urban legend. It is an urban legend. My roommate's sleeping. This story is called The Real Logan Paul Has Been Dead for Years. I wonder. I just gotta click on this. I want to see. It's 12 minutes long. I don't know if y'all are familiar with Logan Paul. I loved it regardless. Regardless of what. Please hit the thumbs up if you haven't already done so. Thanks. Thank you, Cody-san. I feel like I should be like, Domo arigato, Cody-san. Oh. Well, here's a picture that just, I mean, you're like, oh, cute Japanese girls. Oh, what the hell is that? Oh, Japanese people are just the creepiest. They really are. It's hard to not know about him even if you don't watch. What are y'all talking about? So, can Haji Saku travel to Japan embassy, or do human politics diplomacy laws apply to international demons or interdimensional demons? Oh, I don't know. Ah, Logan Paul, Chappy. I know, but it says his name backwards. I agree, Chappy, and most of my friends are Japanese. Yeah, I lived in Japan for a couple years. Well, more specifically, Okinawa. Hmm. I shouldn't do anything, because that sounds spoopy. That was a burp for you. That's what you should do. I don't know what's wrong with me. Pretty sure I was born like this. LOL, back when I said hi to you. A lot of Okinawans here too. Are there? Borders might include any reflective surfaces or any living plant, or might be limited to a single house or even a single object. Yeah, I feel like if you were in the Air Force, well, now the Army because the missile batteries, or the Marines, and maybe even the Navy, you've been to Okinawa. Your oldest daughter is part Okinawan. The Zen ginger sounds like a delicious tea. Human flavored tea is not that good. I'm just gonna put that out there. Long pig tea is not delicious. Just gonna say. Well, here's a story that's not nearly as spoopy as the last one. This one's called The Man in the Window. Do you know the snowman ritual? I do not. How many 5-gallon buckets of those baby fish did you eat in Okinawa? I don't know. I ate a lot of sushi in Okinawa. A lot of Coco Ichiban. Oh, it was so good. Coco Ichiban's was so good. Delicious human soup. Ooh, I like that little demon guy. Well, here's the story. Herb tea. Punchy likes to get down. Scooter, settle down. Settle down, Scooter. Don't make me come over there. Isn't it past your bedtime? It's not past his bedtime. Things had been tough for my mom and I ever since my dad left us 2 years ago. At least I was old enough to get myself to and from school, and I knew my way around the microwave. But I wasn't old enough to get a job, and the bills were piling up. My mom decided to get a second job, a night job, maybe part-time, not something to brag about, but it would keep our heads above water. I remember the first night like it was yesterday. My mom apologizing up and down for having to leave me alone. I told her I'd be fine, and honestly, I was pretty excited. She wouldn't be home until late, and that meant I could stay up late. There was a monster movie marathon on, so who would complain? It was just around 9:30, and I was right in the thick of some Japanese gore fest when I swore I heard something outside. Maybe it was my mind playing tricks on me. Maybe the movie had gotten to me. Either way, I had to check it out. I hesitantly peered out of the living room window, looking to the left, then to the right, and nothing. Then I noticed directly across the way a man standing in his window, just staring. I couldn't really tell what he was staring at, but it freaked me out anyways. I stood at the window for at least a minute, as long as my heart could bear, and he didn't move. That was it for me that night. I was done with the monster flicks. Done, done in by the, hang on. Done in by the freaky dude in the window that tried to fall asleep. The next morning I told my mom about the man. First she was upset. I was up late. Then she asked if I'd been watching scary movies. Needless to say, I got the "it was all in my imagination" thing, and that was that. That night, after my mom left, I didn't feel comfortable alone. It was like that feeling of someone watching you, just after 9 again. I swear, I heard something. It was just like the last, except there was no horror live marathon. No, no, I'm sorry, movie marathon. Against what my brain was screaming at me, I pulled myself again to the window. There he was, the man, just staring out of his window. This time, I darted away as quickly as I could and ran to my room. It was so weird. It got the hair on the back of my neck to stand on end. The next morning I told my mom, but she just brushed it off, saying he was probably just a nervous old man and had nothing to do with me. I wasn't so sure, but what could I do? My mom left for work that night, even though I begged her to stay. I tried to take my mind off the man. I watched TV. I played music. I even did all my homework. But still, I wondered if he was out there, staring from his window at me, or God knows what. My curiosity got the better of me, and I made my way to the window. My fear was realized in that moment because there he was, the man in the window, just staring. I tried to keep my presence a secret and see just how long he would stand there. My heart felt like it was going to leap out of my chest, but I stayed there at the window in some sort of staring contest, weird staring contest. Then it happened. He moved away from the window, and I breathed a sigh of relief. My mom was right. I was worried about nothing. Suddenly, his front door opened, and my comfort changed to dread in an instant. I watched from my window, trying to do my best to not be seen, watching him walk down his driveway, then across the street, then up my driveway. I choked in fear and ran for the telephone. I dialed 911 and waited, my heart jackhammering a million miles an hour. Finally, an answer. I explained to the lady that I thought someone was trying to break into my house. She said she would help and help would be on the way, and asked for my address. I managed to get out the first 3 numbers when I was grabbed from behind. I dropped the phone and felt these dirty, greasy hands wrap themselves around me. I screamed as loud as I could and shook myself, trying to break free, but I was lifted from the ground. I could feel a hot breath on my neck, smell the stale, rotten stench of my attacker. I couldn't help but start crying, screaming my lungs out for my mom, for anyone to help. Then there was a thud, and I was falling with the man towards the floor. We hit, and his grip loosened. I rolled away and scrambled behind the couch when I heard the voice say, "It's okay, you're safe now." I looked up, shaking and bewildered. There were 2 men, one on the floor, who wasn't moving, and another, standing there with a baseball bat. "You're okay," he said again. "I'm your neighbor from across the way." My jaw dropped in confusion. I noticed the man lurking around your house every night for the last few days, and was concerned you might be in danger. I noticed your mom leaving and knew you were here all by yourself. The police arrived shortly after, and between our 2 stories, the mysterious assailant was taken into custody. I thanked my neighbor as much as I could, and from that day I always felt safer when I looked outside and saw the man in the window across from me. Hey Ross, how you doing? Oh, are people leaving? Oh, 44 Mad Guy left. Well, I might have missed you. I'm sorry, but I'm not leaving yet, guys. Gotta be bad when you can tell the hands are dirty and greasy by the touch. Well, gritty and dirty hands have a feel on your skin. I used to work in the oil field, and I knew that when I grabbed something, when I had just stuff all over them, like grease and dirt, when you grab something, like it's a definite texture. Chappy, did you see the Discord thing? Well, Scooter, you don't need to at me when you post something. I closed Discord because you scared the crap out of me. Trying to sell creepy stories here, and you're scaring the guy telling them. Damn you. No, in short, I did not see it. I will open it now, though. Did someone say Discord? Zen Ginger, everybody. The only mod that does work right now. All you other mods are just ancillary mods. Oh, this is what Scooter wanted to send me. Let me. Gotta open the original. Dangerous Games Snowman Ritual. I will. It. Hang on. Damn it. Let me post this picture. Oh, Jesus. Hang on. Ah, Jesus. Oh, there's Japanese girls again. Technical difficulties. What would this stream be without technical difficulties? Zed is a mod god, in my opinion. Scooter, if you're still here, I love the art. You should post that in the art section of the Discord. You might have. I didn't check. Let me search that story for you. Gotta get my mind in order before work. This one comes from Reddit. It's a no sleep. I love the no sleeps. Thanks for the stories, Chappy. Well, thank you for watching. I'm just one guy trying to do creepy stuff over here. I got my fish farm fam in here. Oh, I made a room for y'all in Discord. If y'all don't have Discord, you fish farm fam people now have your own room. I I don't allow people to ban people in here. So I should probably say something. If someone comes in, if someone comes in and they're trolling, unless they're trolling y'all specifically, but if they're trolling, I will deal with them. I love me some trolls. And if things get too out of hand, I can just delete them. But yeah, so y'all have a room in the Discord. And I would love if y'all post pictures of your fishies and aquarium stuff. And y'all can talk about whatever y'all want in there. I mean, you can talk in any of the rooms, but that room is specifically for y'all. But other people will post in there too. But if it's not fish related, I'll delete it. If it's them, if y'all want to post non-fish related stuff, that's fine. You know what? Just go nuts in that room. It's for y'all. The following is a set of instructions on how to perform the snowman ritual. This is peace and prosperity ritual to be performed during the winter months in order to obtain favor and protection throughout the coming year, and will take 3 days to complete fully. The earliest written accounts for this ritual date back to the 4th century CE in Greater Scythia, now Ukraine, the southernmost Russia. This translation has adapted the original materials used and the wording of the incantations to be more accessible for modern sorceries. Despite these changes, recent attempts suggest that the correctly performed rite is still very effective. Tradition dictates that this ritual be performed in the days between Christmas Eve, or the winter solstice, and New Year's Day, but in theory it should be effective during any cold period that there is sufficient snowfall. This ritual works best for farmers and homeowners to keep livestock and or pets. Urban apartment dwellers can attempt it, but will have a much harder time ensuring that the ritual is not interrupted or disturbed during the 3-day duration. Warning: for your own safety, please read the entire document before attempting this ritual. You will need snow covering at least 3 inches with temperature near or below freezing over a 3-day period. 2 tree branches or wooden sticks, preferably forked at one end. String or rubber bands. Plant materials such as dead leaves or dried grass. Vegetable oil such as canola or olive oil. Animal material such as a strip of leather, clump of fur, clusters of feathers, etc. Animal blood such as cow or pig blood. This can be purchased at your local butcher shop or supermarket. Scissors, a sterilized needle, a lock of your hair, a drop of your blood. Instructions: at the edge of your property, build a snowman. It must be at least as tall as you are. To be sure to set aside time and energy necessary, or enlist family or friends to help you. Ensure that the front of the snowman is facing away from your house. Use the tree branches on either side to form the snowman's arms, but do not give it a face. That will come later. At sundown, take the plant material the vegetable oil, and the string or rubber bands out of the snowman. Out to the snowman. My apologies. Facing the snowman, you should be looking at your house over its shoulder. Secure the plant material to its left hand, your right hand, with the string or rubber bands. Dip your fingers in the vegetable oil and press the fingers into the left side of the face, your right side. This is the snowman's left eye. As you do this, recite the following: Snowman, snowman, see my land, hollowed soil on which we stand. Snowman, snowman, bless my home. Guide me back if I roam. If ever I roam. Afterwards, return to your house. Lock the door, draw the curtains, and go to bed before midnight. If you awake in the night and hear shuffling noises in the snow, do not open your curtains. The snowman is moving around, judging if your land and home are worthy. If you awake in the morning and the snowman has returned to its original position, congratulations! Your land and home will be safe for the next year, and you will be sure to return from any long journey you take. If you wake in the morning and the snowman on a different part of your land, take heed of it. Whatever it is near will be affected by some calamity within the following year. If you wake in the morning and the snowman is not melted, but the snowman if you awake in the morning and the snowman is not melted, but the snowman is gone, move. The next day at sundown, take the animal material, the animal blood, and the string or rubber bands out to the snow. Facing the snowman, you should be looking over your house, at your house over its shoulder. Secure the animal material to its right hand, your left hand, with the string or rubber bands. Dip your finger into the blood and press your fingers into the right side of its face, your left side. This is the snowman's right eye. As you do this, recite the following: Snowman, snowman, see my herd, pet and cattle, fish and bird. Snowman, snowman, bless my flock. Grow them grass from horn and rock. Afterwards, return to your home. Lock the door, draw the curtains, and go to bed before midnight. If you awake in the night and hear shuffling noises in your house, do not open your bedroom door. The snowman is moving about, judging if the animals in your care are worthy. If you awake in the morning and the snowman has returned to its original position, congratulations! Your pet will be healthy for the next year, and any livestock you own will thrive. If you awake in the morning and there's an inexplicable puddle of water near something of your pet's that it owns, like your dog's bed or your bird's cage, take heed of it. You should probably look into pet insurance for the next year. If you awake in the morning and the snowman is not melted, but the snowman is gone, say goodbye to them while you can. I am so sorry. The next day at sundown, take the scissors and the needle out to the snowman. Facing the snowman, you should be looking at your house over its shoulder. Use the needle to draw a drop of blood from your fingertip and draw it in a straight line across the snowman's face, forming a groove in the snow. This is the snowman's mouth. Using the scissors, clip a lock of your hair and stuff it into the groove in its mouth, ensuring that the hair does not fall out. As you do this, recite the following: Snowman, snowman, see my breath, draw ever near, drawing ever near. Damn it. Let me try that again. Snowman, snowman, see my breath, drawing ever unto death. Snowman, snowman, bless my heart, judge me whole, and hence depart. Afterwards return to your house, lock the door, draw the curtains, and go to bed before midnight. If you awake in the night and feel a cold, dark presence in your room, do not open your eyes. The snowman is standing over you, judging if your soul is worthy. If you awake in the morning, congratulations! The snowman will have returned to its original position, having judged you worthy. You can expect good health and good fortune in the following year. Warning: to date, there are no surviving accounts of what happens to someone who is judged as unworthy. Take from that what you will. The next day before sundown, preferably when the sun is at its highest, go over to the snowman. Approach it only from behind. Do not walk around to face it. Demolish the snowman completely. Break the tree branches as many times as possible, and scatter the snow around the yard as evenly as you can. Make sure that no trace of it remains. Say absolutely nothing. Once the snowman is demolished, the ritual is complete. Enjoy your year of peace and prosperity. Use it well, for when the days grow short and your luck runs thin, you may find yourself looking anxious for the deep snowfall. If so, I pray that the snowman may judge you whole this year and every year after. Well, that's a fun story. Not making any snowmen in my yard. I don't know about you guys, but nah. How are you guys doing? I feel like my headphones are going to fall off my head. No, they're not. Okay. They just got more snug. The Raven here without getting a copyright strike? Or have you already done that? I can probably read the Raven. God bless it, that's a long one. Do you guys want the Raven? I'll read it. Oh, making men noises. Those are men noises. I'm a man. I'm down here in Houston. We might draw a snowman in the frost on our window. No actual snowmen. Doesn't snow much here. It snows in Dallas every now and then. Kinda quiet, for your information. What the hell happened to... Oh, did I unplug my... Hang on. What the hell? That's... Oh. Looks like the snowman got me. Oh man, I gotta fix that. Oh, what are you guys gonna say about this? Where's my video capture device? There it goes. Technical difficulties always. If I read The Raven, I'm probably going to read it in a weird cadence. If that's okay with you, I will read The Raven. Raven. Chappy has been frozen by the snowman. Yep. It took a little while for y'all to see that. I know. We have a snowman leaning over my bed. I'm gonna snuggle. I sweat when I sleep anyway. I am G Snap. I think you should. Did I just hang on? I just saw something. I'm not trying to be creepy right now, but something creepy just happened. Give me a second. Do you mind not being creepy right now? Try to read creepy stories? I've got to pee. Will y'all hang on real quick? I'm going to play some music. And, yeah. Uno momento, por favor. loving the music. It's soothing. Even the clown music right now. Need to set myself up some back support. There we go. Alright, that is too loud for me. There we go. Do not adjust your dial. I will read The Raven. Like I said, I might read it in a weird cadence. I might not. I don't know. I've never read this aloud. But this story is by Edgar Allan Poe. I think y'all know who he is. The original emo, or the original goth. That's why I have fish tanks all over the place. We're talking about the atmosphere. Well, anyways. Don't think you've heard The Raven. Well, here goes. Let me stop the music. Nope. There we go. Oh, Zen Ginger, you can't leave. What did Ginger do? Anyways, I'm gonna get to reading. Once upon a midnight dreary, while I pondered, weak and weary, over many a quaint and curious volume of forgotten lore, while I nodded, nearly napping, suddenly there came a tapping, as of some one gently rapping at my chamber door. 'Tis some visitor, I muttered, tapping at my chamber door. Only this and nothing more. Ah, distinctly I remember it was in the bleak December, and each separate dying ember wrought its ghost upon the floor. Eagerly I wished the morrow, vainly I had sought to borrow from the books ceased of sorrow, sorrow for the lost Lenore, for the rare and radiant maiden whom the angels named Lenore, nameless here forevermore. And the silken, sad, uncertain rustling of each purple curtain thrilled me, filled me with fantastic terrors never felt before. So that now, to still the beating of my heart, I stood reaping, 'tis some visitor entreating entrance at my chamber door. Some late visitor entreating entrance at my chamber door. 'Tis this it is and nothing more. Presently my soul grew stronger, hesitating when no longer. Sir, and I, or madam, truly your forgiveness I implore. But the fact is I was napping, so gently you came a rapping, and so faintly you came a tapping at my chamber door, that I scarce was sure I heard you. Here I open wide the door, darkness there and nothing more. Deep into the darkness peering, long I stood there wondering, fearing, doubting, dreaming dreams no mortal ever dared to dream before. But the silence was unbroken, the stillness gave no token, and the only word there spoken was whispered word, Lenore? This I whispered, and echoed murmured back the word, Lenore. Merely this, and nothing more. Back into the chamber, turning, all my soul within me burning, soon again I heard a tapping, somewhat louder than before. Surely, I said, surely, said I, surely that is something at my window lattice. Let me see, then, where thereat is, and this mystery explore. Let my heart be still a moment, and this mystery explore. 'Tis the wind, and nothing more. Open here I flung the shutter, when, with many a flirt and flutter, in the step a stately raven of the saintly days of yore, not the least obeisant made her, not a minute stopped or stay he, but the mien of lord or lady, perched above the chamber door, perched a bust of Pallas just above my chamber door, perched and sat, and nothing more. This, then this ebony bird, beguiling my sad fancy into smiling, by the grave and stern decorum of the entrance it wore, thought thy crest be shorn and shaven, thou, I said, art sure no craven, ghastly grim, an ancient raven wandering from the nightly shore. Tell me what thy lordly name is on the night's polluting shore. Quoth the raven, nevermore. Much I marveled this ungaling fowl to hear discourse so plainly, though this answer little meaning, little relevancy bore. For we cannot help agreed that no living human being ever yet be blessed with seeing bird above his chamber door, bird or beast upon the sculptured bust above his chamber door, with such a name as nevermore. But the raven sitting lovely on the placid bust spoke only that one word, as if his soul in that one word he did not outpour. Nothing further than he uttered, not a fear then he fluttered, till I scarcely more than muttered, other friends have flown before. On the morrow he will leave me, as my hopes have flown before. Then the birds say nevermore. Startled at the stillness broken by reply so aptly spoken, doubtless, said I, what it utters is only stock and store, caught from some unhappy master, whom unmercifully disaster followed fast and followed faster, till his songs would burden more, till the dirges of his hope and melancholy burden bore of never, nevermore. But the raven still beguiling all my fancy into smiling, straight I wheeled and cushioned seat in front of the bird, and bussed the door. Then upon the velvet sinking, I betook myself to linking fancy unto fancy, thinking that this ominous bird of yore, what this grim, ungainly, ghastly, gaunt, and ominous bird of yore, mint and croaking, nevermore. This I sat and gauge, I'm guessing, but no syllable expressing to the fowl whose fiery eyes now burn into the bosoms core. This and more I sat divining, with my head at ease, reclining on the cushion's velvet lining, that the lamplight gloated o'er, but whose velvet lining linking with the lamplight gloating o'er, shall press, nevermore. Then methought the air grew denser, perfumed from an unseen censer, swung by Stepham, whose footfalls twinkled on tuft floor. Wretch, I cried, thy God hath lent thee, by these angels he hath sent thee, respite, respite, and Nepothine, from thy memories of Lenore. Quaff, O quaff this kind Nepothine, and forget his lost Lenore. Quoth the raven, nevermore. Prophet, said I, thing of evil, prophet still, if bird or devil, whether tempted sent, or whatever tempest tossed thee here ashore. Desolate, yet all undaunted, on the desert land enchanted, on this home by horror haunted, tell me truly, I implore. Is there, is there balm in Gilead? Tell me, I implore. Quoth the raven, nevermore. Prophet, said I, thing of evil, prophet still if bird or devil, by the heaven that bends above us, by that God we both adore, tell this soul with sorrow laden if the distant Aden, if shall clasp a Satan maiden, whom's the angel named Lenore, clasp a rare and radiant maiden, whom the angels name Lenore. Quoth the raven, nevermore. Be that word of sign of parting, bird or fiend, I shrieked upstarting, get thee back into the tempest of the night's pollutant shore. Leave no black plume as a token of that lie thy soul hath spoken. Leave my loneliness unbroken. Quit the bust above the door. Take thy beak from out my heart, and take thy form from off the door. Quoth the raven, nevermore. And the raven never flinching, still sitting, on the pallid bust of Pallas just above my chamber door. And his eyes have all seemingly of demons that is dreaming, and the lamp light o'er him, steaming, throws his shadow on the floor. And my soul, out that shadow that lies floating on the floor, shall be lifted nevermore. I tried. I think I messed up quite a few words. See you later, Cianta. I love you, bud. I'm sort of popular now. There's like 17 people in here. And I don't know what to do with my hands. They just... What if our hands were like that? Is that weird my fingers can do that? Oh. Oh. How are you guys doing? Yeah, you pronounce his name Cianta. So the J's are silent. But he always tells us when he's smoking. So his J's are not silent. Probably fall asleep now. Good night all. Fish room fever. Sweet dreams. Well, I hope I did it some semblance of the story. Just working on your beer belly. Nice. I told you I'd have a weird cadence to that. I always wanted to do that story when my voice is all gruffly, like after a night when I'd smoke or I had a cold. I thought that'd be fun. But after reading that, whew, there's a lot of words I'd never seen before. You try pronouncing this one. I'm just going to post a few words. Well, thank you very, very much. I'm just going to just just posting some words here. Give me a second. I'm just picking and choosing. Oh, I know there was some up here that I didn't like. I mean, y'all probably know those words, and if I was told them, I would probably know them. But Plutonian, Gilead, Obeisance, Obeisance. I don't know. They don't look so bad now. They didn't. Just, those words did not look right when I was reading them. Replace that six pack with a keg. Already did. All right. Well, let's see. It's 3:18. I want to be in bed before 4. So we got, I don't know, 45 minutes. About there. Belly swole. Nice. Let's see what no sleep has. Damn it. Reddit.com. Let me try this again. There it is. There's no sleep. Well, thank you, LOL what? I'm rolling a spliff for all the faithful ones. Well, I have a job. So I can't smoke. Although I don't think they ever drug test. Creepy Chappy, episode 277. That's just on my phone. I don't know why it's on my phone, but it is. There it goes. Ooh. Well, here's a long one. It's called Fran and Locke. This is from Reddit. No sleep. It's about 2 years old. I was the last in a long line of grandkids on both sides of the family. No one has ever said as much, but I'm pretty sure I was an oops baby, the result of one too many glasses of wine, and a couple over 40 who thought unplanned pregnancies were for teens. Oops. By the time I came along, both of my grandparents had already passed away, and my grandfathers were elderly and lived in different states. Trying to coordinate travel plans for a family of 5, including an infant, was difficult on a budget, and neither of my grandpas were up to frequent trips, so visits were rare and spaced out over long periods. Um, I can pause the story for a second and talk about that. I do these generally when I get off work, so anywhere from 9 to midnight. um, if I'm not working, I try to do them earlier, but the best way to find out if I'm streaming is check out the Discord. I say I'll put something that I'm going to be streaming, but I try to stream every single day. If I know I'll have an audience, I will stream until I can't speak anymore. So um, I would count on at least after midnight, sometimes earlier. But if you subscribed and you turn on notifications, you'll know when I'm streaming. If YouTube is in favor of me that day. So, anyways, back to the story. Trying to coordinate travel plans for a family of 5, including an infant, was difficult on a budget, and neither of my grandfathers were up to frequent trips, so visits were rare and spaced out over long periods. Still, both of my parents wanted me to have a relationship with them, so we had trained phone calls. They could hear my nonsensical baby babble. They'd write me letters for mom and dad to read me and give them crayon scribbles in returns. When I was 3, they both started to experience declines in health. First, my maternal grandpa, then my parental one. Fearing the worst, Mom purchased a pair of teddy bears, the kind that had recorders in them, so you could record a message that would play when the bear was hugged, and made sure to get a message saved for both. My mom's father died when I was 4. A few days after his funeral, I was given a white teddy bear with bright blue eyes that twinkled from beneath a plaid flat cap with a green sweater. When I gave it a squeeze, I heard my grandpa's slightly muffled voice from its stomach. I love you, Sadie. 2 years later, after Dad's father passed away, I got the other one. It was a slate gray color, and the stitching on the face gave me a rather serious expression for a stuffed animal. A pair of red suspenders held up its tan trousers. I fell asleep hugging it, and my dad told me some years later, with tears in his eyes, Randomly throughout the night, he kept hearing Grandpa's voice coming through my room, saying, "I love you, Sadie." I named my white bear Fran and my gray bear Jock. I put them on my shelf above my bed, where they sat throughout my childhood. Honestly, I didn't give them much thought. They had become fixtures of my room, the same way the lamp and the dresser were. Every now and then, I'd come home from school to find one of my parents standing beside my bed, looking up at the bears or giving them a little squeeze. Even as time passed, they still recited their single phrase without fail. Aside from those instances, though, Fran and Jock were little more than dust collectors from my childhood. When I went away to college, the two didn't make the cut and were left behind, while I made my way out into the world for the first time. I think my parents were a little disappointed that I wasn't more sentimental over the teddies, but any memories I had of my grandparents was hazy at best, and I didn't have the same emotional connection that they did. When Mom gently asked about whether I would like them when I moved into my first apartment, I told her no, that they were probably better off with her. "Okay," she said. "Well, they'll be here if you change your mind." I was pretty confident I wouldn't. The next time I went back to my parents' place was to house sit while Dad and Mom took their long awaited vacation out west. They had been promising her, he had been promising her they'd go for over 30 years. They were both buzzing with excitement. In typical mom fashion, however, she was also very nervous. "You remember where all the financial documents are in case anything happens to us, right?" she asked from the back seat of at least 6 times on the drive to the airport. "Yes, in the white bin under your bed. And the wills, fireproof box in the back of your closet. And the—" "I think she's got it, hun," Dad said, reaching back to give her a squeeze. Mom harumphed in the back seat. "Just call if you need anything." "I'll be fine, don't worry. You're only going for a week." "A lot can happen in a week," she said. I grinned at her from the rearview mirror, unconcerned that she made a face at me, but seemed to relax. After I dropped them off, I drove back to their place and started to make myself at home again. I tossed my suitcase on the bed and went to the kitchen to make some dinner and catch up on one of my shows. It had been a while since I'd had a true, completely free week all to myself, and I planned to take full advantage of it. After I ate, I kicked up my feet, stretched out, and commenced lazy lump mode. I managed to get almost 3 episodes in before I started to nod off. I checked the clock over the TV and sighed. It was only just after 11. Was I really turning into an old, early-to-bed woman already? The horror. I rolled off the couch and shut off the TV and all the lights, plunging the house into deep darkness. Even in the inky black, I didn't feel even a twinge of nervousness. I'd grown up in this house. I knew it like the back of my hand. All the creaks and groans were almost comforting. I made my way up to my room and flipped on the light. It had been at least 5 years since I lived here, but my parents hadn't done much to change my room except store a few bits and bobs in the closet. They said it was so they'd know I would always come back to the place with them. I thought it was because changing it would make the fact that I was out for good more real. Whatever the reason, I appreciated the familiarity. As I started to unpack my bag, my eyes were drawn to the shelf over my bed. Fran and Jock, ever vigilant, were sitting in the same spots they'd occupied for most of my life. I don't know why, but I couldn't help but smile and reach out for them. I took Fran down first and gave the little cap a squeeze before squeezing him around his stomach. I love you, Sadie, Grandpa said. After putting Fran back, I did the same to Jock, who stared up at me with his usual sternness even as I plucked one of his red suspenders. I love you, Sadie, Grandpa said. It was the first time I'd ever listened to them in a while, even if they didn't resonate as deeply with me as they did my parents. I was glad to find their recording still worked. A quick trip to the bathroom and change into my PJs later, I was in bed and falling fast asleep. I can say I can't say exactly what awoke me. A nightmare, I figured, giving my heart was beating quite quickly, but I couldn't remember any details. I took a deep breath and rolled over, already falling half asleep again, and found myself face to face with the dark figure on the pillow next to me. I yelped and sat up, grabbing my phone, the nearest source of light, and shined it towards my bed. Fran was lying on his side beside me. I let out a small chuckle and gave myself a little shake to dismiss the lingering fright that he'd caused and picked him up. Did you fall off the shelf? I asked him quietly. I must have put him back too close to the edge earlier, and and done its gravity had done its duty. I gave Fran a gentle squeeze. Get out. I stared down at the bear and blinked once, very slowly. I must be more sleepy than I realized, I thought. I was hearing things. To prove myself that I had just been in my imagination, I squeezed him again. Get out. It was still Grandpa's voice, but instead of the soft warmth it had always had, it sounded cold, almost menacing. I threw Fran across the room where he'd hit the wall. From over my head, I heard Grandpa's voice more gravely. Get out. I whipped around and looked back up at Jock. He was sitting in the same place as always, but now he was turned towards the door instead of facing forwards. I had pulled him down like that. Had I put him down like that? I couldn't remember. Get out. Grandpa's voice came from Fran again, louder this time. Get out. Grandpa's echoed from Jock. The two went back and forth, their voices getting louder and louder, until I slapped my hands over my ears and leapt from my bed. I wanted to scream, but my voice was stuck behind my fear tangled tongue. I stumbled across the dark room, chased by my long dead grandfather's voices. I know you're down there, Jock shouted with Grandpa's voice. I froze. Down there? Down under the shelf? I glanced over my shoulder at the gray bear, staring slightly down from over my bed. I had to get out of my room. I had to get out of the house. I yanked open the door. I see you, Fran said in Grandpa's voice. I was half out the hall, tears streaming down my face. I don't know what was happening. Was I going crazy? Was I dreaming? All I knew was that my two childhood toys were screaming threats at me, and I had to get away from them. I turned towards the stairs. You take one more step and I'll make sure it's your last, Jock bellowed. Get out, Fran roared. From somewhere downstairs, a step creaked. Somewhere else in the house. Someone else was in the house. They weren't yelling at me at all. I realized with a very strange mix of confusion, relief, and newly reformed terror They were yelling at the intruder, who was making its way upstairs towards me. Get out! My grandfathers howled together. Footsteps clambered across the wooden floor downstairs. Someone fell over the living room floor in a loud crash, and again in the kitchen. Before the back door slammed against the counter, as it was thrown open, a car engine rumbled into life. Somehow, I regained my wits enough to run to my parents' room and look out the window to the driver below. An SUV was peeling out backwards out into the street. It slammed into the neighborhood's mailbox, righted itself, and screeched off into the night. A heavy quiet a heavy quiet had fallen over the house again. After waiting a few long, tense moments, I crept back across the hall and peeked into my room. Fran and Jacques were where I'd left them, both completely silent, and they stayed that way. I hesitantly approached Fran, who was lying on his side, with his little flat cap beside him. I picked him up and with trembling fingers squeezed his stomach. I love you, Sadie, Grandpa's voice said warmly. I put his cap back on his head and gently put him back on the shelf beside Jock and backed out of the room, watching them the whole time with wide eyes. As I rounded the corner, heading downstairs to the phone, I heard Grandpop's voice trailing after me. I love you, Sadie. The police arrived a bit later following my frantic call to 911. I filed a report leaving out the bit about my talking bears and allowed them to collect whatever evidence they could. Every so often I found myself glancing at the stairs, almost like I was expecting a repeat of whatever had just happened. It never came, and the cops wrapped it up, leaving me alone again. When I called my parents to tell them about the break-in, they immediately wanted to rush home, but I assured them there was no need. Really, I said, I don't think I have anything to worry about. We could be on the next plane, Mom insisted. No, I'm okay. Whatever that guy was, whoever that guy was, I'm pretty sure he won't be back. It took a few more go-arounds, but I eventually convinced them I was safe. And I felt it, too, for the most part. After the initial shock had worn off, and I had time to process what had happened, I really was okay. I couldn't explain it. I couldn't tell anyone what had happened without sounding crazy, but I knew it had been real, and I knew as long as I had Fran and Jock sitting on the shelf above my bed, I could sleep easy. A few days later, the cops did find the guy who broke in. He was a coworker of my dad's, who'd overheard he'd been out of town. He thought the house would be empty and easy pickings. He tried to tell them about the two crazy guys upstairs and their violent threats. They rolled their eyes and laughed at him. He was very surprised to hear that only a 22-year-old woman had been there in the house during his botched burglary. When I returned home to my apartment a week later, Fran and Jock were with me. I kept them on the TV stand in the living room now, where they have full view of the front door. Whenever I start to feel a bit anxious about being alone, I give each bear a little squeeze and smile as they speak. I love you, Sadie. And now I respond, I love you both, too. That was a nice one. Anyways, how you guys doing? That was poorly read, I'm sorry. Do I have new people in my Discord? Let me see. Discord. Oh, HC Aqua just arrived. G Snap. Let's see. Is anybody? People have. Oh, look at that. Oh, pretty fishies. Everybody gets a roll. Badass and a Hellraiser. Nice feel good pasta. Yeah. HC Aqua, I fixed your rolls. I think I did. Yeah, I fixed your rolls. What are all you people up to right now? That was a good one. Yeah, I like that one. And that was creepy the way he said pretty fishies. Oh man. I'm the guy at work that scares everybody because I'm really quiet. Who doesn't like pretty fishies? I wonder if I have any pictures of pretty fishies. Let me see. I don't think I do. Well, y'all feel free to use other rooms besides the fish farm for Fish Fam. Thank you very much, Chappy. Good night, all. Try to be good YouTube mod for you. Try to be a good YouTube mod for you. Well, good night. I am G Snap. Hey, my earbuds are done charging. I can charge my cigarette now. Y'all want to see something kind of disturbing? Ah, that's actually a little bit fun. It just goes. That's a rather strong magnet in these guys. I'm gonna have to take one of those apart. But how's that? Why are my aquarium lights still on? Something's off. Well, apparently something's not off. Something's on. Obviously. Maybe you have ghost fish. Dun dun dun. These are nice and wholesome. I'm waiting for the hard stuff, but every pasta Chappy tells is awesome. Ew. What, you don't like my piercings? And these things, my these are my pods for my e-cigarette. They're magnetic. So I'm just playing with them like a weird fidget spinner. It's pretty crazy because it doesn't always make contact. I don't. What happens if you get a tattoo with magnetic ink? With ferrol fluid? Um, I don't know. Probably have too much iron in your blood, and it might be bad for you. There is a YouTuber that implanted a magnet in his finger. That's pretty crazy. I would do something like that. I would like that. Hey, we're at 3.14. 3 hours and 14 minutes. Pi. 5, 9. There we go. It would probably itch like crazy, and the magnetic particles would probably expel themselves. I don't know. I mean, I think it's. Have you ever really thought about how a magnet works? You can't see it, but it works. Actually, blood is there's a term for it. Um, it's it goes away from magnets, or it's supposed to be, but I don't know now. Ions are magical. Gravity? Cocky? Cody, you're. I think LOL what's having some some problems. There we go. I don't know what's wrong with me. Repellent? Yeah, there's a term, but I don't know. There's a sciencey word for it. And I'm just too dang tired to look it up. But guys, I think I might end the stream. But now, Hellraiser and a badass. Close. Pebcac? Nah, I think it was just since Wednesday. The most dangerous game. Jay Betta. How about we save that one for tomorrow? Oh, you know what? I get off work early today. Diamagnetic. Thank you. That's the word I was looking for. You were thinking the same thing I was thinking, Jay Betta, for next stream. I do get off early tomorrow. So, how do y'all feel about a 6 p.m. stream? Or maybe I'll get drunk with y'all. How about a 6 p.m. drunk stream? I don't know. Or later. What time are y'all available? Because once I start streaming, I don't ever want to stop. So if anybody plans on streaming, let me know so then I can schedule around them. Because I'm a hog. And I want all the people watching me. Um, yeah, I get off work early tomorrow. Yes. Yes, yes, yes. Yes. But I work all the way until my Christmas break. So Monday through Sunday, no days off until the Christmas break, and then it's 2 weeks off. Yes, I agree. 6 p.m. drunk stream. I'm hyped. I usually play video games when I'm drunk. I'm not so good at the reading, but I can read some before I get too drunk. You can submit creepy pastas. I have the most 1997 email address. You can send it to my email, creepychappy at Yahoo, or you can join the Discord, and I have a room for creepy pastas. It is called I don't know what it's called. Kitchen technology, video games, dad myth, cave memes, Pokeverse, nerdcraft, YouTube sucks. Let's talk about it. Crazy persons. Where'd my creepy room go? Here we go. Creepy requests. Or creepy. It used to be called the Creep Show or something. Damn it, what did I do with that? Oh, there it is. I wasn't scrolling all the way up. Yeah, I have the Creep Factory. Yes, thank you. I probably could have just... Oh, email address. Because I bought that calendar. Yeah. Let me do that right now so I don't forget. I just spelled mail address wrong. Oh shit, what's my address? I just moved here. Oh, my nose itches. What's the fucking address, guy? Oh, Jesus. There we go. Whoops. Yeah, that's it. The Discord. Thank you, Zen. Yeah, you can support me on Patreon if you want to, but you don't have to. I have some Patreon supporters right now, and I'm going to do a little shout out to those guys because they're awesome. There's a thing to this I gotta figure out. There we go. It is Julie Writes on Walls. It is Pip. It is Sianta and Tenra. So if any of you are out there, thank you for being my Patreon. Um, and when I eventually get out to Midland, Odessa, and back here, I will have my setup better, so production value will go up. How are the guppies, Zen? I know it's only been a day. They are awesome, Jesse. Super active. Appreciate your time, Chappy. We love share common interest in creepy stories, rituals. Yes, I love rituals. I just think they're fun. I actually the reason I like sleep paralysis is from one story that's like half story, half ritual, but it's basically how you can extricate yourself from your sleeping body and zoom around. But basically, um, I when I have sleep paralysis, I can move around. It's really hard to do, but since I heard it in the story, I think that I can do it, so I can do it, and it's kind of cool. I don't know. I'll have to find that story again. It's a fun one, but it's like the whole thing in the story is like don't go near the water. You'll float around your city or whatever. Just don't go near water. Don't go in water. You're a great storyteller, Chappy. Well, thank you. Um, I think you guys are just very nice. I don't think I'm great. I think I'm all right, but thank you. Because reading's hard sometimes, okay? But I have had 270. What am I on? 77? I've had 277 streams worth to get this right. One of these days I'm going to sit down and calculate the amount of time I've spent on YouTube. I always try. It's always best to try new things. LOL. What? I feel like that's a line you use when someone wants to do anal or eat really weird food. Hey, Sianta. I was just thanking my Patreons a minute ago, and there you are. Noted, Chappy. Stay clear of water. Did you ever realize you're dreaming and then take control of it? Yes, I've done it a few times. Don't, don't the nope. What? I don't understand. Was it something I said? I tend to say just random things sometimes. This is why I usually hide my drunk streams. Because I just get to run in my mouth. Pregnant fishies. Baby fishies. Who hates baby fishies? I choose to fly when that happens. I think most people choose to fly. Um, you know, but you can do anything you want. Drive cars, have sex, eat food, murder your boss. I never understood that until I got my boss that I have now. And now I don't think it's so weird. You're awesome. I'm using part of the title when I live stream. Using part of what title? I don't do drunk streams on my own channel, lol. I do. I enjoy them. They're fun every now and then. Hey, Scooter. It's like a water finder, but it finds nicotine. It's how you find cigarettes. Do you hide them immediately when you're done, or does sober Chappy hide drunk Chappy streams? Sober Chappy hides drunk Chappy streams, but drunk Chappy takes care of sober Chappy usually. So if I go out drinking, and I live close to like a convenience store, I'll have like my Uber stop at a convenience store and get me a bunch of things in the morning that I think I might like. The one time that I blacked out, that's probably the AFK channel, bud. Um, oh, they're in open chat. Why are you all in the open chat? Well, it's fine. I don't mind. Um, the one time I got blackout drunk, I I went back on base. I got pizza for myself. I tried offering some to a friend of mine while he was. I woke him up from his room. I just get up. Oh, you want some pizza? He put me to bed, and I went to sleep. I found out what being blackout drunk is, but essentially it's your hippocampus um, at a point where, like, this is your alcohol level for your hippocampus. So when things are fuzzy, it's like you're getting close. But once you pass this point, now you no longer have memory. You no longer. And best way to explain that is you can ask someone a question over and over again. So a sober person, when you ask them a question over and over again, they're going to be like, dude, stop asking that question. But a person that's drunk, while they have access to your memories, you're not currently recording any memories. Um, so you can ask them a question and they'll just keep answering the same answer. So that's kind of weird. That's a weird thing about being blackout drunk. My channel is specifically for breeding Palak VIP fighters, but does not include liquor and drugs and other randomness. Oh, but does include. Oh, okay. Yeah, I think I looked at your room. I look at everybody's room. I try to. I try to subscribe to everybody. Oh, you're not talking about your YouTube. Welcome and congratulations on finding Jacob's channel and breeding beta fish, specifically male fighters with domestic females from PetSmart. Come along and join me on my journey on breeding Come along and join me on my journey on breeding super show fighting betas. Well, awesome. Oh, you do have videos. There it goes. Okay. It wasn't flower horn footage. River Life koozie unboxing with surprise. Natural botanicals for betas. Ooh, someone had some In-N-Out burger. I know that cup. Juvenile aggression. First plaque fighter spooky. Nagato and Fry. R.I.P. Spooky. Mail letter opening. Fist fish fam sticker for Beta's room. Juveniles at play. Breed it, create it, evolve it. Nice. Well, anyways, I love you all and thank you all for joining. Um, and you don't have to go home, and you can stay here if you want to. But the stream's gonna go offline, and well, that's gonna happen. Hello, HC Aqua. Aw, everybody went mute. Aw. Hey, Scooter. Anyways, I'm out of here, guys. Y'all be good. And I'm going to chat in Discord for a few minutes. Thanks for stopping by. And I'll be live tomorrow. Check Discord for times.